This is a Louie Tee Network exclusive.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Louie Tee, host of the Louie Tee Network, and this is One Burning Question, a series that will take a look at all 32 teams in the National Football League and pose a question. Some teams will have micro questions where we look at the team in its current state and talk about what could potentially happen for them in this season. And some will take a macro approach where we kind of open up the lens a bit and take a step back and look at it from a wide view look and perspective and talk about where these franchises might be going in the future, not just this season, but moving forward. So I'll take a look at each and every single team, ask a burning question, answer that question, and move on to the next team. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy One Burning Question. Welcome to this In the Lab Room exclusive series, One Burning Question. Today we'll take a look at the Denver Broncos and their one burning question. And I think we're going to look at them from a micro approach. We're going to zoom in on the 2015 NFL season because the minute the Denver Broncos went out and got Peyton Manning, the minute the Broncos went out and got L.A.B, the minute the Broncos went out and got DeMarcus Ware, the minute the Broncos went out and got T.J. Ward, they said to themselves, it's Super Bowl or bust from here on out. And the clock was ticking from the moment they got Peyton Manning. They put all their chips to the middle of the table and they sold out for a chance at another chip. Well, that clock is ticking and they're running out of time. And maybe, just maybe, there's a savior on this roster. Let's take a look at the one burning question for the Denver Broncos. Do the Broncos have a quarterback on the roster that can lead them to the promised land? Now, that's the most important word in that entire question. Now. The time is now in Denver. They don't have a lot of time to waste. They're not getting any younger on that roster. A lot of veterans. They made a conscious decision when they went out and loaded this team up full of veteran football players. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of talented young football players on this team. However, you cannot forget about all of the transactions that have been made over the last couple of off seasons to put this team in the position that they are now in, which is a Super Bowl competitive football team. And you look at this team and the way it's constructed, they've got a lot of guys on this team who aren't spring chickens, especially along that offensive line. You talk about DeMarcus Ware, L.A.B getting up there in age, and again, he's playing at a very high level, but in 2 years from now, in 3 years from now, I don't know if he's gonna be that same guy, okay? You gotta get this done now. T.J. Ward, we're talking about second contract here. We're not getting any younger in Denver. There are a lot of players on this team that they went out and spent a lot of money on, and when these contracts expire, when the other guys are looking for money, because again, they have talented football players on this team that are young, when other guys are up and they need to be paid, you're gonna have to cut some bait. And so, this team is in win-now mode, okay? So now the question begs, because look, the defense, that's a Super Bowl defense, okay? To me, they're the best defense in the league. You know how I feel about the Denver Broncos defense. I'm not gonna sit here and preach to you about how good they are. You know how good this defense is when healthy. You look at their special teams, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's good enough to win a Super Bowl with. Okay, they got pieces everywhere. Their skill positions among the best in the league. If Vernon Davis doesn't drop the football, if you got Emmanuel Sanders, E-Man Sand, and double eight Demaryius Thomas balling out like they normally do, your skill guys are among the best in the league. Ronnie Hillman's starting to run the football with confidence. You've got a slew of backs in that backfield between Anderson and the young kid Thompson. There are a number of guys you can hand the football off to. This team is ready right now. but is the signal caller ready? And that's a really big if, because once you get to the postseason, everybody's good. You need your quarterback to at least give you a shot. With that defense and the way they play special teams, you just need your quarterback to give you a chance. And so the question begs, do the Broncos have a quarterback on the roster that can lead them to the promised land now? And you gotta think, between Peyton Manning, and it's crazy for me to be even asking this question with him still on the roster, but you gotta think between Brock Osweiler and Peyton Manning, one of these guys has to be good enough to get him in a position to go to the Super Bowl. But I don't like my chances with Brock Osweiler because he's a young quarterback, but I've looked at him all season and he hasn't given me one reason to not believe. You look at that Raiders loss, that's not on Brock Osweiler. Yeah, he missed a wide open tight end in the end zone right before halftime. He's got to hit that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This game is different if he hits that. But he still made the plays at the end of the game to put his team in a position. They miss a field goal. Vernon Davis drops the football. Demaryius Thomas drops a football. One on fourth down, one on third down. He made plays at the end of the game, just like he made plays at the end of the Patriots football game. He gave them opportunities and they squandered them. Not his fault. So right now, I'm confident in Brock Osweiler and his ability to lead this team if given the opportunity. But you still got good old 18 sitting over there chomping at the bit, waiting for his opportunity, healing up. And you got to think that if he's healthy, he gives you the best opportunity and chance to win. Now, I don't know what Peyton Manning healthy looks like this season because we haven't seen healthy Peyton Manning this season. He hasn't looked good all season long. And the beginning of the season looked bad. Okay, this didn't just happen when he got injured versus whatever team he got hurt against. He's been playing bad football all season long. So I don't really know if Peyton Manning is good enough to get you where you want to go because he was turning the football. That's the one thing you can't do with a defense this good. You can't turn the football over. You got to give him a chance. Got to give him a chance to defend a long field. You got to give him a chance to create turnovers and give you short fields so that you can win the ball game by scoring points. At least Brock Osweiler does that. He may not be dynamic. This team may not be scoring 30 points with him in the lineup, but at least he's not turning the football over and making the critical mistakes that puts this team in bad situations. Now, he did that against the Raiders. He fumbled the football. He's got to have that internal clock. Khalil Mack kicked their ass. Khalil Mack kicked their ass. Handed it to him. But Brock Osweiler didn't make it any easier on that offensive line. He held on to the ball way too long on a couple of those sacks, especially the one in the end zone that resulted in a safety. Got to get rid of the football. Got to have that internal clock. You got to know I'm running out of time. And when a guy's giving you work like Khalil Mack was in that game, you got to know. And you got to speed the internal clock up that much more because he's winning. So Brock Osweiler has a lot to learn, and that's the one thing you worry about in the postseason. You don't have time to learn in the postseason. Either you get it done or you don't. And that's why I think maybe Peyton Manning may be your best option, but he scares the hell out of me because the last time I saw that guy, I didn't like that guy. So I'm going to ask the question one final time, and then we're going to move on. Do the Denver Broncos have a quarterback on the roster that can lead them to the promised land now? This team is ready now. And you need a quarterback that can win now because you're not going to get many more opportunities. You may think, oh, we got the same roster, we can do it again. Don't think that this defense is going to play lights out football next year just like they're playing this year. Don't think that these players are going to perform at the level that they're playing and performing at right now next year. This is a week-to-week, year-to-year league. Every year is a new blank canvas on the field. And while you may have guys performing at a high level this season, they may tear their ACL next season, rupture an Achilles tendon. This may not be the same team. You have to take advantage of the way this team is playing this season now. And you need a quarterback that can do that. I don't know which one can get you where you want to go. Tough decision to make. But I got an inkling. I got a feeling that if the Broncos coaching staff has their way, it'll be Brock Osweiler leading that team come postseason time. We'll see. That's the one burning question for the Denver Broncos. I'm Louie Tee. See you next time.